Azini aninye bahame Brian. Ora Rwizi ahandi. Mugani jangu ekisingire okusiisa Rwizi. Nokutema ebisara. Bakatema emiti abantu emiti bagitemera kimwe. Nona nyeruko okukireba kandi n'abantu bantu bateeka amabizi marumonongo. Bada mizini gakuyamba twena nk'abantu arona abantu abo gateekisa abo kuganywa abo kukola. So nani jati twahindura mu nkorejo Rwizi rwitondo basa kuterera ndugaruko mu mpera abantu babasa kugaruko muteka abanyamizi gabo ukugabire gasemire kurikira kandi gabasa kweyongera gakanya tatu yamwe byenyanza ihamabizi gitu go kutekesa burizo abantu tukatuganywa mukati no era ritiro kuganywa abo kubanigisha kubiga arumusuye arimu kimwe cyore gasasara yo When abantu baburizo mbase kwinduraho na nabata kukiraho bizwito rwatu
is afraid. The most important for the river that this one the church ije bakore program ka government shabo kuyamba tukujema ka government of Uganda ihemo umwato ku Rwizi bagweta weta haizen Luyo Rwizi Rwizi rwacendera tarwe kindi kugira mu manyangu bashisho Rwizi manyambogeza mu piki manyambakore kintu kitana kitwape Rwizi icurusisire no mwato waza karswatizo kwa hansi kasasuro ki icyo kwatarangana na Rwizi ni nakubagambara abanya-Uganda twatanise na government tira hagitu turebe ngeo umwato gwagera guta gwargamu watema muti oshime kuba no byaro gundi ebishara bayomba bihinga bayo emiti bakagiya mbacharemba nani nyensha bo government eyongere kubyara mostly tugire nk'emigano muganejo ninyenje byire no gireba ndiki kitano cyarahona mbire mugano kwenda nkumo Rwizi kati yambanyense
government yakati wakatugambe council city eragajeje nyo olaba abagaga bazimbye kumpi n'Oruzi runo emikule jipa mu mayumba gabwe toyiza abozona mwezigwera for example ne council yenyini city council siwe jizabo ziri ku Ruzi wenyini enkube etonya ne siwe nizijula maze nikagwerawa mu Ruzi nabali bagakozesa nga bagafumbisa era tebataga kozesa usanga omuntu ngatayina na sente zigula mazi ate nga yeganya n'okusena amazi ku Ruzi obuzibe bwetuyina wano mu city ekirala ebitimba bitono bamwe ababoda batutira mu tawuni n'emirambo nigibula kugamba oluzi twaluvaako.
Embeera yali etya before nga terunaakwononeka?
Embeera yali nnungi naye manyi n'akaliko kati katugambe lwakuba nti twakyusamu naye dda kyali bubi nnyo naye kati abala bataze nakusuula mukundi ekasasiro ndowooza wali nseeri waabo zonna kasasiro zigwera mu luzi ye kati bonaakozesa oluzi nga tyona olaba nti kakyabo.
Buzibu ki obulabikira okubaawo singa oluzi lwongera okwononeka River Rwizi?
Obuzibu bwe tusobola okusanga nga lwongera okwononeka asobola kubaamu endwadde osanga tufunye kolera bilharzia ng'endwadde endala ez'amazzi amacafu nga bw'ozimanyi.
Oyogeddeko nti sewage ziri everywhere.
Sewage ziri wansi w'eddwaliro awo, wansi w'eddwaliro lya gavumenti wezibeera ate bwe zijjula era mwega ina okukulukutira. Ebuzibu tulina ku luzi luno twandibadde tusaba tawuni kanso egezeeko ekozesa amaanyi gaayo nga basaanidde okukola. Obuyonjo obuddeko ku nteeko tuli bubi.
Thank you so much. I'm Richard Mujisha. I deputize the city clerk of Mbarara. Yes, we are lucky that in Mbarara we have a River Rwizi, which is our main source of water. This water is the main source and almost the only source national water uses to supply people, not only within Mbarara city, but even beyond. This river has challenges. The entire river has challenges from where it begins from, Buhweju hills there, up to where it joins Lake Victoria. But particularly from Mbarara, it is being encroached on. People are building illegally there, or have built illegally there. There are some who acquired titles long ago, even before the NEMA Act. We have tried to get out some of those people who have encroached on the river in working together with NEMA. We have a number of cases in court, most of them against us, because in the past with the office of the RDC, we chased people from the river banks, but they ended up taking us to court. We are battling with cases in court. Of course, some of them are claiming customary ownership of the land, but you know, as a city, the mandate to protect the river like River Rwizi lies with NEMA. But for us as a local authority, we also have roles to play, especially to prevent pollution. As the people observe, we have plastic bottles, we have suspect you could also be having some medical waste that end up in the river. But of course, like plastic bottles, people remember that, for example, the 1994 genocide, bodies used to come from Rwanda through Kagera, and they were sighted in Singiro and the rest. So some of the bottles which end up, but when you come to River Rwizi here in Mbarara, there is what we call a field. So where that water makes like some kind of a circle, so ends up depositing most of the materials it picks along the way. Some bottles come from other areas, not Mbarara, but we also contribute. We cannot deny that some bottles and other pollutants come from Mbarara and end up in the river. But we have been trying. With those illegals, currently we have a number of people before our council court, people who have built illegally within the near the river. We also have those who hide and do some agricultural activities, those who dig closer to the river. We have a village almost. We have Tasso village, which is near the river, down to the hospital. We have the allegations that even some
health facilities end up discharging into the river, including also some domestic waste. But we are seriously cracking down on some of those people. However, the duty to protect the river is much bigger than Mbarara City can manage. For example, like people who have titles within the boundaries of the river, that one we need NEMA to challenge the titles. We need the Ministry of Lands, but for us we are coordinating. But we have made serious attempts and struggles to ensure that our river is kept clean. We have the support with Ravrak. We have attempted to plant bamboo. When you go to Tasso Bridge, you will see bamboo trees coming up in an attempt to ensure that the river is protected, and also to encourage the communities living around to move away from depending on those activities that pollute and damage the river in terms of the water quality, the water color, but also causing some acidity. So we are trying to ensure that we talk to them, they move away from those activities and begin to do activities that are river and water friendly, like bamboo, which is so we are having support from ACORD, which is an NGO. We have had a number of trainings. Recently, ACORD gave some groups seed capital in eco-friendly activities so that people move away from damaging the river to utilizing the river and its associated resources. So that one, with those partners, we are moving. We are moving steadily in the positive direction. There have been allegations that Mbarara City registers companies whose activities end up damaging the river, which is not true, because Mbarara as a city has no mandate to register companies. Companies are registered by Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Then those which are making some bottled beverages, they are a number. These days, because Mbarara is a town, you will find most of the adverts everywhere. There are so many beverages that are being sold in the city. Some of them are not made from around. There are a number of factories that have come up, some outside the city, because when you move just here, the Isingiro side, the city does not even go beyond 2 kilometers. You're already in Isingiro. So there are some of the factories which are located outside the city. Even those in other districts, they end, because here a city is a source of market. So most of their products end up here. But in Mbarara, we don't register companies. We also don't make the quality control. Yes. There are illegal activities, as I said earlier. We have people who go there, but we have been like car washing. We have been chasing away some of those, especially those visible ones. There are those who come and bring their dirty clothes. You find they are washing from there. Unfortunately, we don't have a specific team that is concerned with the protection of the river. Maybe NEMA. You know, there is what we call environmental police, which is under NEMA, but of course from the section of the Uganda police. Those ones, I think they do, because NEMA is supposed to do the routine or daily surveillance of the river, especially like you see, like here in Mbarara we have the NEMA regional offices. Yes, they work up to, I think, Buweju and other neighboring districts, but here being the headquarters and River Rwizi being near NEMA offices, also as a city, we would expect NEMA to do much more than it's doing. I'm not saying they are not doing anything. They are doing something, but we expect them to be doing a lot. Because when they don't do it, the local people, the entity, the authority they see is the city. And they don't know the demarcation in terms of mandate. Who is supposed to do this, who is supposed to do the other.
I'm called Pierhanga Ignatius, and I live in Masha sub-county, Isinjiro, and I was the chairman LC5 for Isinjiro district for 2 terms, that is 2005 up to 2016. Then I retired and went home. Later on, the president appointed me as an assistant senior presidential advisor for wetlands restoration. So in that capacity, I'm going to talk about climate change and its effects on our country. People who are listening to me, I think must have seen that this year has not been a good one, especially for areas in Isinjiro. We usually expect rain to come in August, but unfortunately for this year, we have had the first rain in November. People planted various crops, groundnuts, beans, maize, but unfortunately they have had very poor harvest because of lack of enough rain. Now all this is due to the fact that man has destroyed the environment. Man has destroyed the environment. If you go to all these districts in the Western region, you will find that some people have destroyed the environment. Some people have destroyed the wetlands, what we call the wetlands. In Nyankole is what we call Orfunjo and Echara. In English we group them as wetlands. But you find some people have destroyed the wetlands, looking for land for cultivation. They are doing some cultivation of sweet potatoes, Irish potatoes, cabbages, tomatoes, and so on and so on. Others have planted eucalyptus trees, which are also very dangerous to the environment. Others have created grazing land for their animals, cows and goats and so on. Others, a few of them have constructed buildings in the wetlands. There are those in towns, you find people who have constructed petrol stations, industries. If you go to Kampala, Chengera, you see very many industries in the wetlands. So wetlands were created purposely to store water and even to sieve the water. And whenever it could rain, the water would gather in the wetland, then move slowly to the rivers. But these days, people have dug long trenches in their places, so when it rains, all the water runs immediately, carrying stones and sand and everything to Lake Victoria. So because of that, you'll find that we have now long droughts, especially in the southwestern region. We have long droughts. This year I think has been the worst for Isinjiro. Drought going from May up to November, we have never seen that. So we have long droughts, we have rain which is not enough at all, and of course this is very dangerous for production. Agriculture has been affected. Those who are doing the agriculture, those who are doing animal farming, it is very terrible. It is very terrible. I'm talking of southwestern region, but we find that most parts in the whole of Uganda are affected. But the southwestern region is the worst. Now when it comes to climate change, of course it is not only Uganda, but the world over. The world over, I think you must have heard the catastrophes in South Africa, in Malawi, in Kenya here, our neighbors. Somebody told me that in Saudi Arabia, people moved from one region to other regions because it is too hot. They cannot sustain the temperature there. So that's what has happened. People have destroyed the wetlands. So when it rains, all the water runs immediately. You know, these wetlands also contribute to the production of rain. So apart from the rain that we get because of the winds from those seas, we are supposed to get rain from the moisture that comes up. Staying in Mbarara when I was young, when I was in P7, I studied from here. That time, whenever it rained, River Rwizi would fill up. It would fill up. In fact, every time, River Rwizi will claim some children who want to swim in the river. You would not dare to cross the river on foot. But today, if you go to River Rwizi, you can cross, even children can cross, because the level of the water has gone so down. Similarly, the quality of water has deteriorated. The water is so dirty. And the National Water and Sewerage Corporation is having a problem of cleaning this water before they give it to us, because they supply it to the homes. So River Rwizi has been hit. You can see the level has gone down. The quality of the water has deteriorated. And every year the thing is increasing. The problem is increasing. Why? Because of what I have talked about. There is no more water in the wetlands. When it rains, all the water moves. You will see that river full for 2 weeks or 1 week, and eventually the level will fall completely because the water is no longer in those wetlands. Now, in some wetlands, people have dug there, their gardens. When the water passes through those gardens, it comes with all the soil, all the sand, everything, all the dirty things, cow dung and everything. So it will be in the water. So it is a very big problem, and of course you know that, for example, now Mbarara municipality has become a city. That means the population will grow high. We are going to have more people in Mbarara, and therefore the demand for water will increase. We shall have more factories which need water. We have educational institutions, health institutions, all these need water. I think you can see it is a controversy. You want more water, but now the river is threatening to dry up. So that's why we are trying to see that we recover this river so that this river comes back. I think we have sat down and we have made a plan for 5 years, which I've just finished, and that plan has a lot of activities that will be done on this river. But we do not wait for this plan to come out. We started on restoration of wetlands. So because we saw that wetlands were a hot spot, so we started with restoration of wetlands. If you go to a place called Nyakambu, which is found in Shema, you will find some wetlands that we recovered there. In Funjo, which had been destroyed, but we brought them back. Similarly, if you go to Rwampara, in Bugamba, in Indonesia, you will find that some wetlands have been restored. And good enough, if you go there, you will see the population has grown again. There is more water now in those wetlands, and the water that comes out is clean. That's one. Two, we are fighting the people who are digging along the river banks. So we have attempted to do that, although we have not been very successful, but we have attempted. In the municipality here, which is now the city, we have tried to push people away from the banks of the river, but of course it was challenging. People did not want to move, but we have also attempted to do it. In some areas up there, of course, when we are restoring those wetlands, there are a lot of activities that we carry out. We have to cut the eucalyptus trees that are growing in the wetlands. We have to block those gullies that they have put there. You have to cut the crops. I think that's a very big challenge, because some people are adamant they don't want to live. But where we have been successful, it is where we have involved the communities. We have found out that when you involve the communities, first of all, sit down and find out the effects of climate change, so that they understand the problem of not having wetlands. They understand that it is the destruction of the wetlands that is causing all this. When they understand it, then they cooperate, we plan how to restore them, and they move out freely.